Okay, so this is a really simple Node.js application using Express. And the idea is here is, okay, let's say somebody designed a, they set up a server with a REST API, but they designed a really bad API. And so if you're not familiar with Express, I'll just describe it. It says, okay, I'm going to set up my web application under the endpoint /API. And below that, I'm going to say, oh, well, maybe I want people to run, I want a really flexible way for people to run commands, and I don't want to deal with super complicated things. So I'll have something called exec. And if it's API exec something, that's CMD, I'm just going to go run that and send the output to it. So I'm sure if I tried to write software based on this, I'd get fired, but maybe somebody else ended up doing it anyway. Okay, so the idea is that we're going to show what the weakness of this is and also show how Falco can detect it. And if you want to look at these examples, we actually have them on GitHub, and they're all runnable via Docker Compose, so it's pretty easy to work with. So we'll just fire up everything. So it's in this case, we're starting two things. The first thing that we're starting is the Sysdig Falco. It's still run in the container exactly as we ran it before. And we've got this Express server, which is the JavaScript thing I was just showing, the Node.js thing I was just showing you. So Falco's all set up and running. So now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of show what these URLs can do. Okay, great. So if you connect to localhost API exec ls, it runs ls, sends the output to you, and you can see what's going on. So that's great for innocuous command. Well, I'm not, maybe you should never do this, but you can do things like pwd. But let's say you wanted to, you're a hacker and you figured this out, and like, oh, well, I'd just like to get a shell on the remote machine. So how do I do that? So let's just change the argument of exec to be bash. So you do that, and Falco actually detects the activity. So it says, okay, somebody tried to spawn a shell in a container, and it wasn't kind of at the entry point. Kind of when you start up containers, you might expect shells to occur, but certainly not once containers are already running. So we have a Falco rule based on that. It detected the bad activity and filled it in with details on what happened. So we can say it was root. Here's the container name. So this is, giving you an example of all the great stuff that Sysdig can give you with respect to container visibility. And here's the details on what they were trying to run. They're trying to run bash.